Hello and welcome to NTR TV. I, Anastasia Krajnichenko, as always, will be your teacher today. Today we will deal with all demonstrative which is left in Turkish, and also we will learn a lot of opposite adjectives. Let's start right now. Firstly, let's see it briefly what was on the last lesson which we had. We had, of course, demonstratives. We had bu, şu, and o, which are this, that, and that again. And also, when we wanted to point to something and it wasn't used as adjective, we used bunlar, şunlar, and onlar as these, those, those. Let's see the examples. Bu bir araba, this is a car. And bu araba, this car, or this is a car. So as you remember, we used bir to show that it is like this is, not just this. Also in plural we had bunlar, öğrenci. These are students. And bu öğrenciler. These students. As you see, we didn't use bir here because bir as an indefinite article in English is not used in plurals. Why did we do all this tekrar, as we say it in Turkish? We did it because we will use bir today again. We use bir as an indefinite article between an adjective and noun. We do it in this way in English too, but there we use it only before adjective. Here we use it in between. Let's see how would it change if we use it before adjective. Bu güzel bir kadın means this is a beautiful woman. But bu bir güzel kadın, this is one beautiful woman. So we can start counting. Bu bir güzel kadın, bu iki güzel kadın, and so on. You see, it doesn't make so much sense and it's not exactly what we wanted to say. So, bu güzel bir kadın is correct. Let's see another example. Şu büyük bir ev, that is a big house. Şu bir büyük ev means that is one big house, which we can also count. Like şu bir büyük ev, şu iki büyük ev, and so on. We will review numbers in our next lesson. Stay tuned for it. Let's see some adjectives which will help us to create our long sentences in Turkish. We will see opposites today. Let's start with the most common, büyük, which means big, and küçük, which means little or small. Genç, which means young, and yaşlı, which means old. Çirkin, which means ugly. Güzel, which means beautiful, and yakışıklı, which means handsome. Why should we use yakışıklı? Because of course, if we tell a man that he is beautiful in English, it can be possible, but if we tell a man that he is güzel in Turkish, that could be a little trouble. Let's go on. We have mutlu, which means happy, and üzgün, which means unhappy or sad. I hope you are mutlu today when you watch our program. We have then hasta, which means ill, and sağlıklı, which means well, not ill. Then kötü, which means bad, and iyi, which means good. Actually, we saw iyi a lot of times till now because in question nasılsın we had an answer iyiyim, which meant I am good. We have just a little bit of opposites now, and then we will try to use them all. We will have dar, which means narrow, and geniş, which means spacious, wide. We have yeni, new, and eski, old, ağır, heavy, and hafif, light, zor, hard, and kolay, easy, ince, thin, and kalın, thick. And the last but not the least at all, uzak, far, and yakın, close. Now, let's try to create big, long sentences in Turkish now. Bu genç, mutlu ve güzel bir kedi. You can see it on the bottom of our nice picture. What did it mean? You can understand it by rewatching our episode. Then we see a lot of books. We could say bunlar eski, kalın ve ağır kitaplar. To practice opposites, please look around your room or the place where you are watching program and try to tell yourself what do you see and how are all these objects look like, or how are they, what kind of objects you see. We also need to divide two questions. We need to divide hangi, which means which, and nasıl, which means what kind of or how. As an example, hangi kitap büyük? Bu kitap büyük. Hangi means which, so our question was which book is it? Like, sorry. Which book is big? This book is big. But when we use nasıl, we can't answer just bu, şu, or o. We need to add an adjective. As an example, şu öğrenci nasıl? Şu öğrenci akıllı. How is the student? This student is clever. This or that, not close student, of course, as we remember, şu means that an object is not so far, but also is not too close to us. Try to ask questions using hangi and nasıl at home. Let's try to see the dialogue between Ayşe, who is a girl, and Mert, who is a boy. Of course, I will be Ayşe and Mert for you. Selam, bu ne? Merhaba, bu bir pencere. Bu nasıl bir pencere? Bu yeni bir pencere. Hangi pencere eski? Şu kapı ve o pencere eski ve kötüler. Sağ ol. Peki, o erkek kim? O yeni bir öğretmen. Adı Burak. Burak çok uzun, yakışıklı bir erkek. Where, as you think, this dialogue could be? This dialogue happened in the classroom, of course, because as you could remember from our last lessons, öğretmen means a teacher. What happens if we don't use bir at all? Because we could be scared of using bir. We saw how dramatically it is changing if we put bir not between the adjective and noun. If we don't use bir at all, it means that we are using bu, şu, and o as an adjective and answering a question hangi. As an example, hangi kitap? Which book? O eski kitap. That old book. Let's make some comparisons. Bu çirkin erkek and bu çirkin bir erkek. What is the matter to use bir in here. We use bir here because bu çirkin erkek means this ugly man. And bu çirkin bir erkek means this is an ugly man. Yes, there is a difference here. Let's see all combinations which we could create from 3 words. As an example, o, ders and zor. First is bu zor bir ders. This is a hard lesson. The second one, bu zor ders. As an example, matematik. This hard lesson, as an example, is maths. And the third one is bu ders zor. Here we see that adjective goes to the end. And we have this lesson is hard. The thought is the same, but its grammatical issues are different. I hope it was not hard to understand. Last demonstratives we have. Yay! We came here, we learned all demonstratives of Turkish. We are so nice. Aferin bize. Good job to us. We have demonstratives of place. Yes, they are different in Turkish, but it makes Turkish really beautiful language because you can just say, for example, burası to show that you are talking only about a place, not a simple object. So we have burası, this place or here, şurası, that place or there, and orası, that place or there which is really far from us. As example, orası bir okul. Here is a school. Şurası büyük bir park. There is a big park. Orası yeni. That place is new. You can see that in English we used 4 words in last example, but in Turkish only 2, which makes Turkish really interesting to use and really practical. Why can we use those pronouns? We use them to tell which place is it, what kind of place is it, to give the name of this place. For this, we use a question word neresi if you want to learn it. As an example, burası neresi? Burası bir okul. What place is it? This is a school. So we just gave a name of the place. Or orası neresi? Orası eski bir park. What place is it? This is an old park. But it's not the only issue which needs to be reviewed. We use burası, şurası and orası to tell how does it feel in any place we are talking about. What kind of place is it in terms of feeling. For this, we use a question word nasıl, which we already know. As an example, burası nasıl? Burası güzel. How is it here? It is beautiful here. This is a beautiful place. Orası nasıl? Orası dar, kötü. What kind of place is that? That place is narrow, bad. Was it hard? I don't think so. That is pretty logical and pretty short in terms of formulation. Let's try to understand when to use bu, şu and o, and when to use burası, şurası and orası. We will compare. As an example, bu bir masa, this is a table. So we understand what we are not using burası because a table, you see, it's not a place. Maybe it's a place for mouses or cats, but not for humans. It's an object. But we use burası when we are talking about, as an example, house. Burası bir ev. This place is a house, or this is a house. Also, we use it as we just talked. We use it to show how is it feeling in this place. As an example, şu yeni, that is new, and we understand that it's not about place, it is about object. But şurası yeni, we understand what we are talking about, some place, which is pretty new. And the last example is o yeni bir sandalye. That is a new chair. Of course, a chair is not a place at all. Orası geniş bir sınıf. That place is a wide classroom. We understand what we need to use orası because we are talking about a place. Of course, all classrooms except our programs, because it's only on your TV, are places. Let's try to create another dialogue and let's see where is it happening. Here we have Alper, who is a Turkish boy, and Karin, who is probably a foreigner girl. Alper starts. Merhaba, affedersiniz, burası neresi? İyi günler, burası bir okul, şurası ise bir sınıf. Burası nasıl bir sınıf? Burası geniş, yeni ve güzel bir sınıf. Peki, bu hangi ders? Bu matematik. Çok teşekkür ederim. Matematik nasıl? Bu ders çok zor ama bu zor ders güzel. You can try to make such dialogues with your friends who is watching our program as well. It can also happen not in the classroom. Try the house. Try, as an example, the shop, which meant market. We saw it in the lesson with alphabet. For today, we dealt with all demonstratives in Turkish. So now you can easily demonstrate and point, show anything what you want in Turkey. In our next lesson, we will understand how to count in Turkish and also how to ask questions which needs answers yes or no. Me, Anastasia Kranyuchenko, was your teacher for today. Stay tuned as I'm learning Turkish. We'll be on your TVs soon with our new lesson. See you!